Hello Internet, Seth Skorkowski, and if you're like me, you've probably wanted to stab your dice at some point. That's the third one in a row! I could stab these dice! Well, today we're looking at the Dice Wand by Unique Dice, the 7-in-1 metal dice that can stab you back. Well, die probably isn't a very accurate term for it. The Dice Wand looks like a phurba, a tri-bladed knife, and along the handle are 4 spinners, each numbered to represent a different die. The skulls along the top are your D8, while the demon faces below is a D4. Below that is your D10, with a second D10 a little further below to give you your percentile dice, and then the spinner between them serves as your D6 with its lower portion as your D12, and then the all-important D20 is the Dice Wand stand. Now, this is not a sponsored review or the promotional copy that they sent me or anything like that. I bought this Dice Wand during their Kickstarter, so this is 100% a customer review. It's made of a zinc alloy, available in several different colors. Mine is the sunset brass. Well, it looks pretty dang cool to me. And it barely takes up any room on the table, like way less than a dice tray or a dice tower does. And you can stab your game master with it. That's not a plus. Well, maybe not to you. Now you might have noticed that the numbers are incorporated directly into the design. So instead of your standard Arabic numerals, which would really clash and stand out with the way this thing looks, the Dice Wand uses these symbols, which I did find kind of weird at first, and it took me a little bit before I could read them reasonably quickly. However, the metal on metal look of them, in my case brass on brass, it's kind of difficult to make them out unless you're at the perfect light at the perfect angle, especially the D10s. So I might suggest painting them in a different color, something very bright and contrasting, maybe a bright red or a silver or something that really just pops and stands out. Maybe mix it up with a different color for each type of die. Now, that might fix one of the problems, because while this thing looks great when you're looking at it straight on, but when you're playing a game and you're sitting at a table, you're looking down on it. So you have to kind of lean in order to get a good look, in order to see what the numbers are. That might alleviate a much bigger problem that it has, because, at first I thought, why look straight down on it when I could just, hold it up and spin it, or maybe even hold it out to the side horizontally and spin it, but that's when some problem became extremely obvious to me. It's not balanced. You can see that some spinners rotate around, favoring a heavier side, which I feel is a pretty damn big problem for a die. I mean, it advertises itself as being precision crafted for balance and fair rolls, but this one clearly isn't. So unless this thing is perfectly upright, it is going to favor certain faces more than others. Another aspect that spinners have that regular dice don't have is sometimes it can land in the middle. I mean, is this a 9 or is this an 11? So outside of pulling out a magnifying glass to determine which number it's closest to, you might consider instituting some sort of house rule, such as, you always go with the number that's on the left, or maybe you always go with the number that's on the right, or maybe just always spin it again until you achieve a definite result. Now, this also leads to another aspect with spinners. Todd, the monster lunges toward you, its claws raised. What do? Grinchart swings his mighty sword and... Yeah, I'm gonna go get a drink. Anybody want anything? No, thanks. No, I'm good. Still going. 2. I missed. Spinners can take a long time to stop spinning, and if you roll a normal die, it's just a second or two before you have your result. But with the D20 spinner, the average time that I achieved on a good solid spin with that thing was about 55 seconds, which is an eternity if you're in the middle of the game and you're waiting for a dice result. So even if you had a dice wand that was just perfectly balanced, I would never recommend the dice wand for just regular play where you're making a lot of rolls. Even if you're, making multiple rolls in the same combat round or the same turn, it's just going to drag the game's momentum completely down. However, as a game master, I can see where it would be really cool to pull this out as some sort of prop, like, you unite the two pieces and then you're allowed one roll off of, some specific chart that you have, or maybe some big dramatic moment at the end of a campaign where everything comes down to a single die roll, like, will they save the city or won't they? And that's when you could pull this out and put it on the table for one big dramatic roll, and everybody's kind of looking at it and waiting to get the answer, so I could see it being pretty cool for something like that. But either way, this isn't something that I would recommend that anybody use as just their regular gaming die, but it does look pretty damn cool, doesn't it? And I stick a link down below to the Unusual Dice website. They have several other neat products you might want to check out if this looks like something that you might want. Just personally for me, I find this die far more decorative than I do practical. Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see some more of our stuff, such as game reviews or how-tos, just hit that subscribe button. Until next time, amigos, stay awesome. You forgot the biggest benefit to the dice wand, because with it, I can build the fastest, sturdiest dice tower of anyone. Check it out. Boom, done. Still not that practical though.